Today on the segment, we have Mr. Kweku Baidoo. He is the founder of Revel Labs and an assistant teaching professor in graphic and experience design and is based at the North Carolina State University. I believe you are at North Carolina.
Yeah, NC State Raleigh. Yeah, Raleigh.
Yeah. Great. Beautiful. Thank you so much for taking time to do this with us. Quick question. I know I've done a brief introduction about you already. Just give us more detail about what you do, who you are, and for those who probably do not know you as much.
All right. Thanks a lot, Delppy, for the opportunity as well. Thanks to the PI. I call them PI, right? Like Pan-African AI Summit team. Also for bringing me on board. But as you already said, my name is Kweku Baidoo. I'm a researcher, I'm an educator, and I'm an entrepreneur, and also the founder of Revel Labs. So Revel Labs is a nonprofit. It's a technology nonprofit focused on helping bridge the digital divide in terms of tooling and in terms of AI literacy, specifically in Ghana. And so the gap we've realized was that if you look at the tech ecosystem, a few minutes drive away from Accra, even though we have the goals of, driving digital literacy, outskirts of Accra, they don't even have basic tools to even learn tech with, right? So we are doing some interventions by donating laptops, and helping them with their AI literacy curriculum and doing some workshops with the students in far remote areas in Ghana. So that's what Revel Labs is all about. But aside that, also, as you mentioned clearly, I teach here at NC State. And that also fuels my research. So my research is in the space of AI decision support systems, right? So how can we better design AI systems in a more safe way, in a more ethical way to help support decision making in high stake environments like healthcare, education, and what have you. Yeah.
Do they have vacancy for me?
Oh, of course. Yeah, big man. So anytime.
All right. But I'm curious, how did your journey with this actually begin? What kickstarts this whole journey in AI?
It's a very interesting. And so I found out about like these tools when I relocated to the States to do my master's education, right? That's when the whole wave changed for me. And over here, the conversation is actually less generative and more integration into workflows. How can we build systems that have AI embedded in it, but the consumer or the user does not even, interface with AI system? That's actually the angle with AI. But the journey actually started, with looking at AI as a whole, as a tool, thinking about ethics, thinking about how we can deploy it safely, conversations around governance. So that's actually forward my journey in this space.
Beautiful.
But then my biggest worry has always been that this is a tool that is changing the future of work, right? Like it's changing everything we do from banking to even like calorie calculations, right? But back home, kids in these, in these schools are not well informed as to, this is how my career will pivot in an AI era, or this is how my AI future looks like, right? So how can we help mitigate some of these gaps to bridge that divide?
Beautiful. Was this always the career path you imagined for yourself?
I think I honestly don't think my journey when I was younger, I was like, I was going to be an architect. I always say that I didn't go far from what I always wanted to be, because I was a very good like I started architecture. I was very good I actually won the best interior design student in one of my courses, right? So I was there. By design, I've always, wanted to do things that are human-centered. And architecture is sort of, studying the human body, building spaces around how human beings live, right? And so I didn't fall far from what my career would have been. I do UX design as a career, right? That's also human-centered in a way, right? How do we design experiences for human beings, right? Architecture would have been that, how do I design space experiences for human beings? So I think my career is aligned in the right direction. From an AI perspective, I think AI is really a tool, right? And so it's just every career has some AI integration, right? So I wouldn't say it's a path per se. It's just a tool, just like the computer, just like the internet, to enhance how I work. Yeah.
Beautiful. I want to top up this question, right? Talking about AI, I believe you're involved in a few projects, right? What kind of projects or initiative would you say you're currently involved in, if it's okay for you to share? Because I know some projects might be private.
Currently, the only projects that I'm working on, like 2 projects, mainly in the space of, I mentioned that I do research in AI and health. And so I'm working on prototypes for how we can leverage AI for clinical decision support systems, right? Do we build systems that can help doctors navigate diagnostic uncertainty to make sure that they have, their clinical decision support tools have the right explainability in them to help them make patient-informed decisions faster based on patients' data. That's one of the projects. The other one I'm working on is more ed-centered, right? Mainly for Riverside Labs. We are looking at how we can help younger people define their career paths in an AI-driven future, right? So maybe you come on the platform, you upload your resume or choose some interests, then the system helps you navigate, oh, these are key things you are interested in. This is a career path you could explore. So those are some of the ways we are looking at integrating AI, things that revolve around humanity.
Beautiful. Your job comes with some form of misunderstanding from people, true or false?
A lot.
So what is one of the things, like just one, if you can just name one, that people often misunderstand you about your current job or work?
Design. When people hear design, they always navigate to flyer, right? Like, oh, do a cool flyer for me, do this. It's not. That's also design in some form, but I think design is way more than that.
It's like, more than that, yeah.
Yeah, like we are building products, like we are doing user research, right? Like the field is so huge now that you can pick different sides of the end youth, right? That's one. And for some reason, the older people tend to bunch us all up as we do, like
one category.
One category, we do tech. And so it means fix my computer for me. It means
for me, hack Wi-Fi passwords.
Exactly. So that's like a regular misconception I get. My dad is like, oh, and someone that was computer please, but check it, but check a print him. I'm like, that kind of
yeah. You're the one who's going to fix that for them.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a common thing around us. Okay, you've honestly, I would say you've built quite an interesting journey, and honestly, that experience is really part of what makes your involvement in the summit very important. And I believe that's why we want you to be an ambassador for us, because you obviously are going to be championing the thing like head on as somebody with their experience and into AI integration and stuff. I think this is your field. This is your thing. Becoming an ambassador for the summit, right? You're an ambassador this year.
Yeah.
I think this is the second or third edition, right?
Yeah.
What made you decide to say, yes, this is an initiative I'm going for. I want to do this.
And that's a tough one. But I think that the timing is right. Being an ambassador for this summit means that you are helping champion the conversation that should be had on the African continent. We cannot run away from the fact that AI is going to change the way things, evolve, economies shape up, right? And so I think the timing is right for Africa to have those conversations, and the Pan-African AI Summit is the right platform for those conversations to be had. The change is quite rapid. And, if you look at globally, data is like, there was a conversation, I think there was like a conference in Ghana, the Digital E-Learning Conference, where there was a conversation around quality of data in terms of African data, especially even on the clinical side or even other data touch points, right? But unfortunately, in the AI race, it's either you're a consumer or you're a builder, right? And so I'm happy that we are having these conversations to be also at the forefront of how we build our own AI ecosystem, but learning from that the Western worlds have made to make sure that we are deploying these systems in a more safe way, in a more ethical way, and in a more human way. So that's why I wanted to be an ambassador to help, push this, platform to where it has to get to.
When someone says Pan-African AI Summit, like if I'm telling my father Pan-African AI Summit, if I'm telling my kid brother Pan-African AI Summit, or even if I'm my grandmother, what should I expect them to have in mind?
I would say they should have in mind that there's a platform that is going to open the floor for conversations that will shape the future of what their children's workforce becomes, right? As you can see, I'm very student-centered, so a lot of the conversations...
That's fine. Beautiful.
Yeah, how I can think about what the kids become in future, right? Like what our students become in future, what the future of work becomes in an AI era.
Yeah.
And I think they should look at it from the perspective that for older people, they had their own challenges with the emergence of computers. They've seen technologies when the internet came and how it changed their work from typewriters to using, things that they can easily type on and print at the same time. And so they should think about this as an era that redefines the world of work or the workforce for their future generations. That's what I would like to say.
Beautiful. Still talking about the summits, right? Are there any specific themes or sessions you've seen online or heard about that you personally are excited about and want to witness?
Even before that, I'll say the theme strikes me a lot. Like, I mean, the theme clearly says that they want to scale AI innovation in the African tech ecosystem. That's huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that also speaks to the fact that there are already AI conversations being had in Africa. There are businesses
Obviously
with AI in some form, right? So this platform help scale that, a bit more. But to amazing sessions, and I was actually thinking about it this morning that this is something that I think this is a platform that I think is very multidisciplinary, and I don't think it's a space for only tech people to attend or thrive in. I think that this is a platform where I want to see different stakeholder groups, people in the agri space, people in the medical space, right? Students, right? Entrepreneurs. I think that this is a space where equal voices or, equal voices in terms of the AI race should be had to make it more inclusive and diverse for everybody in a space, because AI affects all of us. It's not only the people behind the code or the people behind the it's the farmer in, Kumasi somewhere farming cocoa, they have some integration of AI. So how do we make sure that this could be a space where all the huge conversations or inclusive conversations could be had?
Beautiful. The conversations are a major part of this whole discussion, this whole event. Without conversations, I don't think this is going to be possible. But to be fair, I would want to know, how does the summit, right, align with the work you already do? What's the linking factor, or how do you call it?
I think the linking factor is like responsible AI. Like my research is how I can design trust-centered AI systems for decision making, right? I believe in an era where humans and AI contributes or work well together, right? Like we call it human AI teaming. So that's actually a space I think about in how we can design experiences that afford having AI as a teammate, right? Because in most cases, when those human beings have qualities that automation systems don't have, and then saying like AI can do some mundane tasks that humans shouldn't even be doing anyway. So how do we mesh that gap? So those are things that I'm interested in. So the summit also aligns well in that space. Conversations around explainability, conversations around responsible AI integration into workflows and systems. So I think it aligns with you actually fit in the work back home with Riverside Labs, like bridging that digital divide and helping build AI curriculum with how we can integrate AI into our current technology curriculum. When we went to Gomor, for instance, that's one of the conversations we had with some of the teachers. They were like, oh, these students are learning ICT just in books. They don't have the tools, right? But how can we use some of the AI tools, like for instance, Google's learning studios or Google's this tool, Notebook LLM, to help them exactly, to help them simplify complex topics and make it easy for them to imbibe these lessons even when the teachers are not there.
I personally have a project I want to work on similar to that. I think it will be nice to collaborate with Riverside Labs. I want to because I talk a lot about artificial intelligence online, and I'm mostly doing generative stuff, not the typical giddy giddy. I'm more interested in going deeper into artificial intelligence, but also making sure that I don't leave the growing generation behind, because we know how our curricula is. They will barely teach them these things at the basic level, which is something that is very important now, because it's not a part of us. So I'm trying to find it. Once you spoke about going to Gomor and stuff, I'm just trying to find a way to do a project around going to teach these people how to use these tools, how to take advantage of these tools as early as possible, so that before they come into the working space or into the world, the world of work, they have that experience already. But to be honest with you,
Mhm.
beyond the role as an ambassador, right? There are like many people who would be listening or watching this particular interview that may be wondering whether this summit is actually meant for them. Do I have to come? Is it necessary? So, quick question. We're going to look at who should actually attend this particular summit and why. So, yes, who exactly should attend the Pan African AI Summit?
If you're curious about the future of work, if you're curious about what your future of technology should be, you should be there. So by that, I mean everybody. I'll speak for my students. I'm hoping my students get a lot of seats because I thrive in helping sure that the youth are well placed in areas where there's a lot of opportunity, right? And so, but outside students, because students, when they come in there, it's a good place to network with professionals in the space, learn
Yeah.
new skills, get informed with new knowledge. So it's actually good for them. They should take an advantage of it. But outside
Beautiful.
that, businesses should be there, right? Because being part of this is also helping prepare the future workforce for work. And so businesses should also be there as well. Entrepreneurs, right? Like tech people, giants in the space, right? Come, let's have good conversations around, what AI could be in the African context. Yeah.
Okay. You've mentioned businesses, entrepreneurs, and, students, right?
Mm-hmm.
If these people are coming there, right, what would you, I want to put it in a way, what can a young person, let me just start with the young people, the students, for instance, what would you say that a young person who is still figuring out their career gain from attending? And for the business owners or the professionals, what are you expecting them to learn or to gain from the summit as well?
Whoa, okay. For like students, I'll say for students, I think the biggest thing is being exposed to emerging tech, right? Like sometimes exposure also fuels interest, right? I've had conversations with a lot of students where the biggest challenge is navigating or clearly fine-tuning what they will do or what their future looks like, right? And so being exposed to these conversations will kind of spark an interest to say, okay, these are the things I like to do. These are the things I like to see. These are things that I'm currently thinking about, and these are professional networks that can help me sort of navigate some of these spaces I want to get into, right? So that access to, the professionals and, exposure to these emerging technologies will help for interest to help them direct their career paths in the future, right? To help them envision future AI ready skills for themselves. So that's actually a good one. But for business owners, if you look at the list of speakers, a lot of talented and amazing people from all over the world, from Microsoft, from Google, what have you, a lot of industry ready people. So, and businesses not just huge businesses, right? Like startups, right? Like medium scale businesses could have access to these professionals, be part of these workshops to sort of see how they can also integrate AI in some way in their businesses, right? Because in Africa, sometimes we infrastructure is a challenge. Technology infrastructure, I'll say, is a challenge, right? And
Big
I think
challenge.
having the right person to help you navigate these integrations is also key for thriving your businesses. So they should come because they have access to the right talents, the right people to talk to, and the right people to let them figure out what it means for AI integration into their businesses.
Yeah, so basically, we're looking at opportunities, we're looking at networking, collaborations, and what's
Right.
not. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's beautiful. But my last question on this part is, for someone who is listening, who feels they may not have enough experience or connections, or even the inferiority complex is hitting them a little bit, what would you actually say to them?
I'll say that I just looked at. There's a saying that the first step is always the hardest. Like if you're climbing the stairs, you also don't climb the stairs and jump to 10. You'll always start with the step one and then climb. But the
Yeah.
climb, the beauty is in the climb, right? So take the
Mhm.
first step. I always
Mhm.
believe that. Like I've literally come to believe that nothing is impossible, right? Don't then The nice thing about AI is that everybody is started now. Like this is the era where everybody is also trying to figure out tool, so you are not late to the party. This is actually, if you wanted to start, you should start yesterday. Like this is actually the right time to start. It's not
Beautiful.
a tool that when I went to the schools, that's literally what I said to the kids, that these systems are here for you to break them, right? So don't be scared. Play with them. Have fun with them.
Going to the last part of this conversation, and we're going to look at sponsorships. Obviously, we need sponsors for this to run smoothly. We need to have some sponsors, but we want to also make sure the sponsors are getting some form of value from this. So, quick one: why should any company or organization consider sponsoring this year's summit? What would you say will be in for them?
I like the money conversation. We need money to make this thrive. Bring in the money. But for sponsorship, I'll say I think this is even beyond sponsorships. Like if you are supporting this cause, you are planting a seed in how AI will shape the future of Africa, right? So this is actually the right place to invest for businesses in Ghana, right? Be part of this conversation. This is actually the moment where you are not just throwing money at an award event, but you are, putting money in something that is very impactful, something that brings change, that will define the future of work, right? So you should definitely come on board and partner with us. But also, I'll say that these conversations are conversations that will empower the people who will work for you in the future. So you actually should be looking forward to, supporting the cause to make sure that the right conversations are said. These are conversations that can also impact your business as well. So you should come and support us.
Would you say the opportunities for brands to showcase their products, services, or even innovations, if they have any?
Of course, that's a given. I mean, visibility. Visibility is what, and visibility is actually what some of most businesses look out for, right? It's like a cost-benefit analysis. If I'm sponsoring, what am I getting? But I think that the Pan-African AI Conference is actually, if you look at how they are rolling their marketing campaigns, I'm talking to Delppy. Delppy is like a top tech, influencer in the space of tech. Huge numbers online, right? Like obviously, the visibility is given. You get, right? You get more than those small ones that you've been getting. So you should actually partner, right? That's why I didn't center on visibility, because it's a given. This is a huge platform. It has a Pan-African viewership. It's not only Ghana, even though it's being done in Ghana. It's actually wide. So you are tapping into markets that you are probably not even yet thinking about, investing in. So it's a good footprint to start, right? Visibility is a given, you get it.
Yeah. Visibility is a given and you get it. If you're watching this, please take opportunity, take advantage. I'm going to put you on the spot for this question, but I still want to ask either way. What kind of companies would you say would be a natural fit for this summit? You don't have to mention names of companies, just can be put them in the category, like maybe companies in this space.
I'll probably say the companies I want to see in that summit, right? Like I want to see, and it cuts across both profit and non-profits, right? Like I want to see I want to see tech companies here, of course, because this is a very tech-driven space. I want to see the finance company. Fintech is in this space as well. Banks, right? Like I want to see them there. As I mentioned earlier, agri is actually a space where AI is also transforming a lot. So I want to see a lot of agro spaces there. And of course, the field where I research the most, the healthcare space. I'm actually interested in a lot more healthcare conversations at the summit, like, the future of healthcare, AI in health. Those are things that I naturally default to in terms of research I do. So I want to see a lot of those healthcare companies there as well. And of course, education is like a big pillar in this space. So I want to see schools, we will actually be interested to see sponsorship from some of these universities. I'm not naming names, but it would be nice to see that sponsorship can be in any form too. It could be that we're paying for, we have different categories. So we are paying for seats for students or what have you. So I want to see a whole range of businesses out here.
Are there different sponsorship packages or partnerships available, like partnership opportunities?
I have to look at the list carefully, but there are lots of ways to partner and sponsor. I mean, we have like a tiered sponsorship package. So if you are interested in sponsoring, and I'm sure Delppy will put out, access to like emailing or access to
Yeah,
platforms
yeah,
and then
yeah,
connect with us
definitely.
packages with you. Yeah, but we definitely need your support on this one.
Okay, so what would you say to a company that likes the idea but is still unsure? They're just not sure if I should put my money in this or I should be a part of this or I should sponsor the summit if they're not unsure if it would be worth the investment.
I'll say don't overthink it. Just be part of this because the funny thing is that we were all here and ChatGPT blew up. We were not ready for it, right? The future is not about being ready.
Honestly, I recently saw a tweet of somebody writing underneath that, "Oh, it's a nice idea, but it's not going to go anywhere." And surprisingly, it just took off.
Exactly. And post-COVID, it's been back to back to back to back, right? So technology, there's a saying that technology, fuels opportunity and trust is what drives adoption, right? These conversations are not just about, oh, tech this, tech that. They're about the future of humanity. And so you should be, looking at powering something that speaks to the future of humanity, right? So don't overthink it. This is the right place for you to invest. Visibility is a given, but also you will be part of something that shapes how Ghana or Africa deploys AI systems.
Beautiful. Last question to close the segment. What is one message you want every potential attendee, sponsor, collaborator, investor, inventor, AI enthusiast who will be attending to remember?
Well, you're putting me on the spot with this one. I would say, like I said, remember that technology drives opportunity and trust is what drives adoption, right? For systems in Africa to, be adopted properly, we need to make sure that they are safe, they are trust centered, and we are approaching AI integration responsibly. That's one thing that I think in all the conversations at the conference, I hope you don't leave with that. And that also means that if you're a business owner integrating AI in your solutions, think about how you can carefully create the experience to benefit humanity or your customers who will be a user of the systems. How do you make sure that their data is safe? How do you make sure that your AI solutions prioritize ethics and values, or from an African perspective? That's what I'll say. One of the biggest things, I mean, automation is, I'm outside that. I actually, based in the intro, I didn't say that I love Wachi. And I'll say one of the things I don't want people to automate is my Wachi. But aside that, you're free to do what you want to do.
Yeah, yeah, beautiful. So if somebody wants to register, where can they register?
Our website is panafricanAIsummit.com. It's actually really well done. When you go there, you see a list of, I'm trying to close the tab so I accept my cookies, but you see a list of like a tab that gives you a good way to navigate the platform. You see our programming, we see our speakers, and we also have some sponsorship on board already. So if you are thinking about, even you are still dicey about sponsoring, go out there and check the companies we already partner with. Like, I think you would want to be part of, a leg of companies that partner these on our platform, right? So you should check that out. We have, hackathons if you're an AI enthusiast or if you're a tech enthusiast. There's so much to see on that day, right? And so I don't want you to miss out on this opportunity. But visit panafricanAIsummit.com, look at the list of speakers we have, and, prepare yourself to be amazed on the D-Day.
Prepare yourself to be amazed. Finally, what are you personally looking forward to the most at the summit?
I'm looking forward to connecting with people, right? Like, I think that outside the conversations that we'll have, outside the big terminologies that we'll hear, there's always the people that, having genuine conversations, having with human beings is actually what I look forward to, right? So it's always that for me, because the conversations are interesting, good programming. And actually, I just pulled up the platform, but we have like a cool list of programming and things to look out for, but it's just the people, right? Me and the lobby conversations, right? Those are the things I always look out to. Like, we'll sit in a conference, we'll listen to speakers talk about, and then I'll hang out with some of the bros to, dive into, what was said, what are my key takeouts, and also those are things I always look out to when I go for conferences like these.
Beautiful. Thank you. I didn't say this before, but I'm also Kweku. I just don't use the Kweku a lot
Oh,
because
Mr. Delppy,
people,
you have to come on
people,
you.
people usually tease me with a name, so I've hidden it. But my local, what do you call it? The day I was born was on Wednesday, so I'm also
Wednesday
Kweku.
born.
But Kweku,
Born
thank
back
you
for
so much for
born.
joining us and sharing more about your journey and this year's summit. For everyone listening, make sure you follow the official summit platforms. They are all over LinkedIn. Just search for, they're all over social media, not just on LinkedIn. Just search for the Pan African AI Summit. You should find them there on Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok, anywhere else.
Yeah.
And also visit panafricanAIsummit.com. I want to also add that this year's event is kicking off from September 22nd to the 23rd, 2026 at Kempinski Hotel. You don't want to miss a specific day out. You want to be part of the conversation the entire time. Yeah, like I said, stay updated on our social media platforms because we're going to keep bringing some updates and sponsorship opportunities and other things that would, keep you involved in the conversation along the way. So do not go anywhere. Do not change anything. Stay active. And we're going to talk more, Charlie.
Before you go, I wanted to also ask you what you are also looking forward to for at the conference.
Personally, as somebody who is invested into AI, but I'm looking to network a lot, like, to create more opportunities in the AI space and to see what people are doing in there too as well, right?
Okay.
I'm only limited to generative AI. Like I said, I want to look at more, I want to look more into integration, agentic, I want to see conversations around those places and then learn from that too as well. But above all, we're just looking for a place where Africa can also be a part of the conversation in the long term, right? So there's not only the Western world that is always doing it, but also having Africa play a key role in the conversations around artificial intelligence during that time.
Nice.
Thank you so much, bro. Really appreciate having time with you.
Always, yeah.
Thank you.
We should collab though, like you Revo Labs have just hit me
Yeah,
up.
sure.
Definitely work on something together.